but it's already done.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yay, adventure!
It's time for adventure. Last we left our party, we kind of spent the night just talking at the Blue Elephant. There were some reveals that happened. Reverie revealed her shape-shifting nature, as did the professor. Um, much talk about what to do next, where to go, and somewhat of a plan came together as Nariko had announced her intent to move on to Red's Wharf, but with this quick detour first to Dum Dorahl to pay some respects. You all spent the night, had some breakfast, and were just about to head out into the town to go about and execute our plans. So without further ado, we move back to the city of Crystal Cove, and I throw it back to y'all.
Joe, I have 2 questions for bookkeeping purposes.
Sure.
Question 1. Did Mr. McNeil ever give us the other 10 gold for everyone for helping with the expo?
I did not have him do that yet.
Cool. Question 2. Did we buy the axe beak?
That was not done.
That hasn't been done yet. So this is that next morning, where we were going to potentially go buy the axe beak. Maybe.
At this
after
point,
the professor slept on it.
If we remember.
Yeah. At this point, it will have been a full 48 hours since the attack on the Sentinel compound.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Sep, did you start the recording?
I did.
Oh, you didn't announce it. You did a sneaky.
I did.
Sneaky.
Sometimes you just gotta
This
believe.
is why we make a catchphrase for the sign-on and the sign-off.
Right?
Okay, guys, well, get on, start figuring out the catchphrases, and then, on top of that, what this party name is eventually going to be.
Marcel, do it.
Penis.
Oh, is that what our catchphrase was? I forgot.
That's very regal.
That was very well done.
No, that's
know
not the
if it's a-
catchphrase. That's
Not
the
a
party name.
catchphrase.
Oh, it's the party name? Oh, God.
Okay. Jade's gonna have some thoughts on that.
Phallic phylactery.
We don't need to know what fills the penis phylactery, okay, guys? Like, we can all imagine. We had just left from breakfast, right?
Correct.
Great. And we're heading to... Nariko wanted to talk to the headmistress one last time
Somebody did.
before we left, right?
Yeah, I think we were gonna-
Reverie was the one we needed to.
Or Reverie did?
Reverie was going to have their conversation. Plus, we were also going to see if we could find out any information that that the headmistress might know about, I guess, temerity, if I remember correctly.
Right. We're going to ask a couple more people. We were going to ask a couple more people about temerity to see if they had any additional information because we were going to go after her.
Haha! I remember things.
Yeah, you did.
Haha!
yeah.
I didn't even write that shit down. Boo!
I did write stuff down,
I know.
and I
'cause you're a
forgot.
Freaking wizard.
Okay.
And then before we leave, Yuki does still want to go to the herb store, as does Red.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I think technically Nariko still needs to pick up her dress from the tailors.
Correct.
That's about it.
Headmistress first, then. Pop on over. Come back. Go
Business
do all
first.
the running around.
Catch her before she takes her leave of the city.
Yeah, okay. Do you think we need an appointment? Oh, is she just gonna let us in again?
Oh, she's certainly going to let us in again.
Oh, Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, to the School of Magic then.
We're basically given open invitation to return at any point. So
Right. Yeah, okay.
Is that where everybody's heading to?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
The School of Magic is open this morning. Students coming in and going. Usual foot traffic of people coming in and out. You're able to walk in and the person at the reception desk sees you and remembers you. They nod and they say, "Oh, here to see the headmistress again."
indeed,
Yes, please.
Do you remember the way?
yes, thank you.
Down the hall to the men guarding the door.
She smiles and goes back to her business. That needs you to it. Heading towards the office, you once again see Howl and Claw standing outside the door in their guardly fashion. They look at you and they nod and they open the door without much more of a word to you.
All right. Hello. Good morning. Or not. Good morning.
Hal kind of nods and he says, "Morning."
Just gonna lean into Yuki. They're so serious.
They definitely take their jobs seriously.
As you move in past the door, you see Headmistress Elbereth. She is behind her desk. She's gathering her stuff, and you see she's starting to put files away in folders and little side bags. She's getting ready to head out back to Moonhaven. And she looks up and smiles, and she says, "Oh, good morning. Welcome back."
Oh, hello. Good morning. Yeah, caught you before you left.
Yes, I was just on my way out to the docks.
Do you have a few minutes to talk, or are you in a rush?
No, I have some time. What can I do for you?
Reverie looks around to her companions. Does anyone else have questions before I start?
I think our questions are just about temerity. So if you have things you want to talk about, just go for it.
I think you are the priority now.
Yeah.
Go on, Reverie.
Okay. Well, I guess my first question is, how well do you know Temerity?
Temerity always managed to keep people at arm's distance. She was a teacher, and she studied for a while. So I know something about what she was studying, but I can't say that I know her very well personally.
So you don't know much about her past then?
There are bits and pieces that I know. Is there anything specific that you're looking for?
I'm not sure. Um, like we said before, we think we met Temerity in the vault. But a school professor isn't someone that comes to mind when I think criminal activity normally. So I'm trying to piece that together.
I will admit it certainly doesn't fit her character profile, but many people have been driven to do desperate things when they're in desperate circumstances. I can't imagine if that was Temerity what would have driven her to do such a thing, or why.
Would you say she's a powerful spellcaster?
I would certainly say that, yes.
Alatar, the book.
Yes.
He seems to think she might be in some sort of trouble. But I don't really have any more information than that.
Yeah, I'm afraid this is the first I've heard of a sighting of her in some months. Wizards tend to go off from time to time. They catch a story or find information about something they're looking for. They go and they go off and they look for it, and they do whatever it is they need to do, and eventually they come back. It's really nothing we think twice about if one of our wizards goes absent for a little while, but never in this kind of manner before. So maybe she's in trouble. As I said, it doesn't seem to be in her character to storm the heart of the Sentinel, as it were.
Is there anyone who might know Temerity better? Was she close with anyone, or is she close with anyone?
She took a great interest in the longevity of life. I know her and Master Arnaris back at the school. They've had some debates about it. There was another person who was studying with her. What was his name? He seemed kind of cagey around higher level spellcasters. It was a tabaxi. I believe his name was Rudolphus. I think he was hanging around her quite a bit as well.
Reverie looks to Nariko. Does that name mean anything to you?
Does it, Joe?
High or low?
Hi.
You remember seeing a very interestingly dressed tabaxi hanging around the school. He never really made it a point to be social or present, but you recall seeing a tabaxi kind of hanging around.
And Master Araneris, he like teaches at the school, right?
Oh yeah. He's pretty well known.
Okay, gotcha. Nariko will look to Reverie, concentrate for a bit, and say, "Well, Master Araneris, I certainly know from the staff. the backseat, I do remember seeing them under the dress a little bit. She tries to think of the word to say here, but distinctly. But as to any sort of conversation or taking note of his activities, I can't say.
Okay. One last question. Unless anybody else has any. And this may sound strange. Temerity's a tiefling, correct?
Nessa smiles, and she says, "Temerity is, yes." And she gives you a wink.
That's an emphasis on that name.
Do I need to roll insight, or is that meaning clear to every?
It's pretty clear.
And her other forms?
She never showed them to me. I was only able to see who she really was, and the forms that she would care to show.
Okay.
I have a question, if it's alright.
Of course.
You said that it really didn't fit well with Temerity to storm the heart of the Sentinel?
Yes?
But you said you didn't know her.
I didn't know her personally.
Then how can you be sure?
Well, I suppose that's a good question. Because there really is no way to know for sure, is there?
I was hoping that you had that she had a medal from saving orphanages or something. I guess there's not any way to know then.
She did travel with the Thorns of the Black Rose for a while, I know that much.
I did read about that in an earlier volume.
So, one would think that she would have good, possibly even heroic tendencies, even if she didn't keep to herself.
So, if we go with that maybe she has heroic tendencies and would never do this on her own, what will make a very, very powerful wizard do something she didn't want to do? If this was actually Temerity.
If I knew that question, then... If I knew the answer to that question, then... Perhaps we would be halfway to solving this problem.
I mean, what will make someone like you do something you didn't want to do? I'm not going to use that against you. I don't mean it. That came out in a weird sort of way. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant
She
you're
kind
a
of
very powerful
snickers,
wizard.
and she says, I know what you meant.
Oh, alright. That's it. If I mean, I know what I would do if my sisters were in danger of something, but if she didn't have any friends and she kept to herself and she just had the school and what?
I could only imagine that someone would have had a piece of information or knowledge that is maybe holding for ransom or just as incredibly important. guess the only thing you can't physically fight against is knowledge, information.
Yeah, I suppose so. So if it is temerity, is there anything that you know that she uses to protect herself, or in case we see it again, that we need to be aware of?
She has vast
She doesn't.
knowledge of spells. Let me think as I check something.
I think as I check her inventory.
I'm not doing that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just totally not written out on this page right now, guys. Fine. God.
She does have a great number of spells at her disposal, and she has one of the most powerful protective garments that a wizard can have. One of the
Oh. So her clothes are magic too. That's great.
well, a wizard's been around for quite a while, has studied quite a bit. You can imagine they have quite a bit of magical items at their arsenal.
I suppose. I mean, I don't want to be afraid of pants, you know. But well, I mean, at least we know. Maybe we won't see her, so we won't have to worry about it. Thank you. That was all. That was. I was more than one question, but that was the questions I had. Does anyone else have any questions?
Not me. Well, are you are you hungry?
Who are you asking that to?
That's
She kind of blinks and she says, "Actually, I had my morning tea and croissant already, so I'm quite good. But thank you."
he's just as she's speaking, he's like casually like sliding a hunk of cheese out of his pocket that he had taken from the hotel. He's about to offer it to her, and then when she says no, thank you, he like casually slides it back into his pocket.
It's kind of you to ask.
Did you just offer her cheese?
No, I have cheese. I would have offered. She didn't want it. She was not hungry.
That is very kind of you, Professor.
Well,
I'm gonna end on kind too, but I'm just nope. I'm good. I'm good. Nope. Beverly?
Nariko will raise up a hand like she's back in school to be called on by the teacher.
Yes, Miss Nariko, you don't need to raise your hand here.
Oh, sorry, we'll tap it. She kind of like looks aside for a bit and she walks over to Nessa's desk and pulls out a one of her papers that she was doing some work with last night, and she shows it up to Nessa and she says, "So, I'm relatively certain that there's absolutely someone in Moonhaven who could fill out a requisition such as this. I just wanted to know if you knew of anyone in particular who would have the expertise to save me some searching around. And I will message Joe what the hell I'm looking for."
She will take up the requisition and start looking at it.
There we go.
Oh, I see. Yes, there's a and she kind of looks around and she says, "Yes, I can deliver this for you."
Are you having secrets in the room? It's okay if it is. I just want to. I'm not going to ask questions if it's supposed to be secret, but looking at each other very secretively.
Nariko kind of blushes and she says, "It's not an important secret."
No, it's okay. No, you're allowed to have secrets. It's all right. I just wasn't sure if it was. I'm gonna not. It's a secret. I'm not gonna ask a question about a secret. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look at this way.
But, she's like, now she's stuttering. She's like, not secret, more surprise. That sounds nice.
Surprises.
Yeah.
No, surprises are good. Surprises are really good, and that's wonderful to have a surprise. I love surprises. Sometimes I'm not a surprise person a lot of the time, but I'm. I shouldn't have asked the question. That's fine. I'm very excited for your surprise. Hopefully, it doesn't jump out and scare us.
Nariko's.
Ren looks over at Jade. Do you want me to pat your head?
Do you want to pat my head?
Would it help?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit, probably.
I will try. And Ren will very gently pat Jade on the top of her head because she looks like she's freaking out.
That's actually very comforting.
Yuki offers her tail.
Ren will pat Pat again.
I really am fine, but this is very nice, and I will pet her tail while I'm being petted by Ren. I just got flustered. It's fine. I'm not actually upset.
So we have a therapy cat, and now we have a therapy horse.
Therapy centaur.
Oh boy. Turning back to Nessa. Nariko said, "Oh, you're the headmistress. I would never in a million years want to put you out to take care of something as trifling as this. I'm sure if you have any sort of contact or what have you, I can have this taken care of. You don't need to do this for me."
She kind of smiles and she says, "Don't. It's okay. It won't take any time out of my day. I assure you."
Yeah. Very, very kind of you, Miss Nessa. Headmistress, thank you. She'll sort of like roll up her little draft that she had made. I think maybe Reverie might catch that there's some arcane symbols like scribbled off to the side, like formula. I don't know if Reverie would care enough to try and interrogate like what the school would be or anything like that.
I mean, she'd be curious. Can I catch anything at a glance? Do I need to like roll for that?
Give me Arcana.
I'm very distracted.
You are, but you would probably be able to tell it's arcane, and you don't know what it does, but a couple of symbols strike you as being prominent to like the illusion school of magic. It doesn't seem like it's anything really complicated, but you don't really get much of a chance to sort of like read it out and then parse what this is in reference to.
Okay. Headmistress, I just thought of another question.
Sure.
We are traveling to, and she looks over to Nariko for confirmation on where we're heading.
Dum Dorahl, just across the pond.
Do you know if Temerity had any friends there that we might try to talk to?
I believe she had some communication with the monks at the monastery that is associated with the Iron Hammer Brewing Company.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I'll go talk to them when we get there.
Hi. Should we go to bed?
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't delay.
Unless you have more questions, Rodri. You can ask more questions if you have them.
I don't even know what to ask.
That's fair.
Not that it is anything in my area, but if there are additional questions, is there a way we could reach out to you, Headmistress?
The von Grutzer Modrons have made their way to Moonhaven, so I'm sure if you catch a Modron, or of course use a sending spell, you'll be able to reach me.
Nariko puts up. Oh, yes. So long as he's not on any deliveries at the moment, I can usually get a hold of Newman quite easily, and he's very excellent at timely deliveries.
That should suffice.
Has Nariko introduced us to Newman?
I think Newman showed up while we were outside, like the Heart of the Sentinel, when her letter came back from Mom.
Yes.
He totally did, but did we get introduced to Newman, or was he just a Modron just hanging out?
I don't think there was any introductions. I think you guys just saw that it was a Modron.
Okay. Just making sure. It's the little robot thing person.
Oh yes, he's very nice, very chipper, very devoted, very defective too, but in a good way.
Defective?
Oh yes, he actually thinks for himself and has developed something of a personality. Mothers don't normally do that.
Oh, maybe he's just growing up.
Oh yes, actually, it's. I think it's rather exciting because, with the ability to self-determine and to learn and grow from mistakes, he's quite special. It's something we have a problem with the other Modrons, is that they are very single-track minded, and they don't deal well with the pressure of even just conflicting orders, let alone obstacles.
Oh.
But as far as just going from point A to point B, they do quite well.
It's not a defect then, it's more of a happy surprise?
I would classify it as such. Unfortunately, since Modrons originate from the plane of order and law, in the eyes of other Modrons, if he were to go back home, he would probably be disassembled on sight.
Oh, so we're not sending him home then?
Oh, most definitely not. He lives with us.
Oh, good. It's not like a familiar where if it disappears, if he would go that way, is it? Do we have to? Do you need more incense or chalk or anything to make sure Newman stays here?
No, he's been quite good at keeping himself out of trouble. I have repaired him a few times. I really don't look to find out to what extent I could repair him if he got really badly damaged.
Oh, okay.
So, for that reason, unlike familiars, he will not be staying near us if we're going out and about, poking our noses in things that may get him in trouble.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Okay, good then.
Well, is there anything further we need to discuss with the headmistress?
I'm gonna say no, and I know like the minute that she gets on a ship and leaves, I'm gonna think of something. I'm not gonna be able to ask her.
Well, you can just write it down and we can send a list with Newman at maybe a specific given time.
That is why we asked.
That's a wonderful idea. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if I think of anything, I will write it down.
Well, I'll be on my way out myself. So anything else you think of, send me a note, and I'll return it as quickly as I can.
Thank you for all of your help, Headmistress.
Thank you so much.
Be safe on your journey, and again, when you're in Moonhaven, come back and see me. And I hope to have some more information for you by then.
Likewise.
Yes, thank you for your help.
Of course.
You have a safe journey as well.
Thank you.
Alright. Nariko will lead the group out from the room and then double back after she realized the professor is standing in place writing in his book and just kind of pull him back along with them.
He just silently allows himself to be guided. He doesn't stop writing at all.
No, Nariko gets it.
So once we're outside, Jade is going to ask the group. So we didn't get too much from the headmistress. Did we still want to go talk to Fedwin and see what? I mean, he said he was going to help us if we were going to go try to find these people, and then, I mean, he was part of the Thorns of Black Rose, and he said he kind of knew Temerity. I think he said he'd met her a couple of times. Maybe he has some more information that we don't. Maybe that the headmistress doesn't have.
Any help is good
It could
help.
not hurt to try.
I think if we're here and we have the time, we should gather as much information as we can before those sources of information are not accessible.
Yeah, I think you're right. Where do we find him? So last time it was in that little room, and but I don't know if that's his room or. Do we just go to the Sentinel compound and just kind of ask someone?
I believe the compound is kind of a home base here. It's as good a place as any to start.
Yeah, alright, we can do that. Professor, you know them best. Do you want to lead on, I suppose?
Oh, sure. And he just kind of tucks away his journal and just starts walking back down the long, stupid trek around. Lovely walk, this.
I actually really like the winding path. You get to see a little bit more of the town.
No, this used to be a slum.
What is that?
Oh, like a ghetto, like just kind of not a great part of town. So I've read, so I've heard. I've never been there back then, but apparently, before it was known as the Hottest Sentinels, this used to be called Beggar's Row.
Oh, so it's where people who were more destitute stayed?
Yeah.
Oh, it's really nice now. Did they rebuilt everything?
That's what they say. I wonder if they also named it a little bit arrogant to call it the Heart of the Sentinel if they built it themselves, I should say.
I mean, do we know if they named it or if the people named it for them?
That is a good question that I don't have the answer. We could ask Fedwin!
I mean, yeah. We're going to be asking him questions. He seemed really nice. I think he did. I don't really recall too much of the interaction because I was very, a little bit all over the place that day. But he seemed really nice, and I wish we had met under different circumstances because it feels a little bit awkward now. But he seemed nice. I mean, could you just ask someone if they know where?
He's pretty nice. Usually trust a man with a beard and a ponytail. I got nothing to hide.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I feel like the beard might be hiding things.
Wouldn't that much hair mean you could hide more things in it, though?
Well, if you don't have the head down around your face, you're really exposing your face so that way you can see all the emotions happening underneath. And the beard is really just a really big mustache that covers your face. More of a trust-stash for him, really.
Like, I'm confused if it was... So, we shouldn't trust him because he has a beard and he can't see his face? Or we should trust him because we can't see his face?
Well, I mean, I don't normally suggest trusting someone based on their looks, but I mean, he's got a reputation that paints him pretty trustworthy.
I mean, he was also in the earlier books, and he did seem pretty great in those. Apparently, his father's a lumberjack, which I find interesting, and his mum's a seamstress, but they never actually make appearances in the book, so I don't know if that's relevant or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've never heard of that. Lumberjacks don't really hear that word very often these days. Usually they're like lumber technicians. Something about unionizing and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, we had a unionizing effort back home once.
Oh, were they lumberjacks?
No. Maybe some of them could be in their spare time.
You know, I've never actually cut down a tree. Part of me is dreadfully fascinating with the act of cutting something down. Just seemed a little bit too much like murder.
I'm sure the tree feels that way. And probably every druid or nymph or dryad who hangs around the tree.
See, that the reason why I could never really bring myself to do it. I've known plenty of druids that can't really get behind the whole thing.
Is that him? Nope, that's just a man with a beard.
The professor will lead them to kind of like the complex where there's like a courtyard with a great big statue of Fedwin with his axe in one hand and this trident slung over his back. Imagine he's probably somewhere around here.
Hanging around his statue.
Well, I mean, if I had a statue, I'd probably be somewhere near.
I suppose that's a good point, and everyone could find you. It is very tall. Okay,
As you're standing in this courtyard, there are a number of sentinels that are kind of going back and forth. They're kind of doing their own thing. There are some townspeople that are here. They like to they keep the courtyard open for visitors. Anyone can kind of go. It's like nice, like green space, like a park for people to kind of hang out. But as far as you can tell, you don't really see any sign of Fedwin.
You know, I once heard a rumor that if you were to sacrifice a slice of pizza at the foot of this statue, he'd appear.
a slice of
I don't know how much
pizza.
that is true, but interesting anyways.
Don't know what that is.
A statue?
Pizza?
Oh, pizza! Like a melty, cheesy sandwich with no top. Like,
So
half
not like an
sandwich.
elephant ear.
not well. It's kind of like an elephant ear. It's what if you put like sauce and cheese on it?
So it's just a different bread.
I should think so. Yeah. Although,
Okay.
what if you were to make a pizza with the same stuff as an elephant? Ideas for tomorrow, and he starts scribbling these ideas in his notebook. He's like,
Should you just ask someone if they know where Fedwin is?
I mean,
Yuki's just gonna walk up to the first sentinel she sees. Excuse me.
Yes, hello.
Hello. We are looking to find Fedwin. We had spoken with him earlier and need to ask him a few more questions. Could you advise us to where we might find him, other than standing in front of his statue?
The Lord Captain Commander Emeritus you're looking for.
Is that Fedwin?
Yes.
Then, then yes.
You'll probably find him in the rectory. And he kind of directs you away. He goes, if you head that way, this door leads you inside. Looks like a small office building. Do you have an appointment with him?
No, we do not have an appointment. We were just going to see if he has any time to answer a few questions of ours. As I said, we spoke with him earlier, so he will not be surprised to see us.
Well, sure, yeah. Just go into that door through the rectory. There's a nice young blonde woman. She's sitting behind a desk. Her name's Sheila. Just let her know you're in to see the Lord Captain Commander Emeritus. She'll well, I suppose she'll buzz you in if he's available.
Wonderful. Thank you for your kindness, sir. And she will walk away and relate that to the group if they're not within earshot.
So we're not going to try the pizza thing.
I don't really want to sacrifice anything to a statue.
Where would we even find that, Professor? I do not see any pizza restaurants or pizza stands around.
Honestly, that rumor sounds questionable at best.
Yeah, I mean...
Yuki gestures to the bottom of the statue. Is there any remnants of pizza at the bottom of the statue?
None.
Yeah. So Yuki's going to gesture to the statue and say, Professor, I believe someone who told you that was yanking your... She kind of looks a little amused and says, tail?
He just raises a brow. He's like, part of the fun of the scientific method is proving even the most ridiculous things wrong. You don't know absolutely whether it's wrong or not until you try. I will be back. We don't have to do this right now, but once I find a pizza place, I'm summoning a Fedwin.
Why don't we just go find him?
Oh, yeah, not right now. It's
All right.
very busy. Got things to do, people to see.
Yuki's just going to walk towards the rectory.
Things not to repute, apparently.
I mean, maybe we can try it a bit further away and see how well it works.
Yeah.
You know? When they're not on a place that he could just maybe pop out of his office. You know, there's a lot of people with offices and appointments in this town that's different. Not really. I mean, it is a little bit, but not that different.
Different from what?
I mean, I don't know, just going and saying hello.
Oh.
But I guess they're very important. So, you know, when you're important, you get a lot of people want to talk to you. A lot of visitors. Can't see them all the time. Maybe.
I mean, not with that kind of attitude.
Well, they're the ones who ask for the appointments.
I suppose if you have a lot of people who want to say hi at the same time, might get messy. I've never been that busy. I guess I've never been that important.
I haven't either.
Well,
Professor, I do not believe you hold still long enough for that many people to find you.
That's also true. You're very fidgety.
well, maybe one day I'll have my own statue that people can sacrifice a delicious something to summon me, and then everyone can be happy. I can see the world through the lens of food sacrifice travel, and people will get their moment with me. And I won't have to sit still.
That sounds horrifying.
I don't know if we should be sacrificing anything to anything, but that's it. One doesn't usually work, and when it does, it usually doesn't work out very well for the people who are trying to summon something.
Minor details.
Sure. Yuki, do you want to knock at the door? I'd see if the blonde lady Sheila will let us in.
Let's give it a try. And Yuki will knock on the rectory door.
As you knock on the door, there's kind of like a moment of silence, and you hear, it's open.
Yuki will open the door.
So you open the door, there's a nice desk set up. There's a pleasant young blonde lady sitting behind the desk. Sheila.
You can walk to her and ask her if her name is Sheila.
Yeah, I'm Sheila. Who are you?
Yes.
My
Oh my
God.
love it. I love it. Love that, Sheila.
Yes. Um, Good afternoon, Sheila. My name is Yuki. We're wondering if we might speak with. She kind of looks at the professor and says, "Lord Captain Commander Emeritus."
Emeritus, yes.
Oh, you want to talk to Fedwin?
Yuki huffs and throws her hands like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" She's like, "Yes, please. May we speak with Fedwin? We spoke with him yesterday, and um, we have a few more questions for him."
Oh, he's a very busy man, you know. Do you have an appointment to see him?
Unfortunately, no, we don't. But
I
if
do.
you,
Oh, you do? What's your name?
Reverie.
She kind of looks down at the book and she kind of scans it for a second. She says, I don't see your name in here.
Could you double check with him, please?
All right. You see, she kind of puts her hand on a stone that's on the desk, and you hear she calls out. She goes, "Fedwin, there's a reverie here to see you. She says she has an appointment." And you hear through the stone, you hear Fedwin's voice. He says, "Well, is she in the book?" Sheila says, "No, she's not in the book." Fedwin says, "Well, are you sure she has an appointment? Maybe it's a different day." Yeah, I'm not even really supposed to be here today. I don't even know how anyone could have made an appointment with me. Sheila says, "Well, I don't know. They're just here. They say they have an appointment. I don't see him in the book, but they say they're here. They want to talk to you. They have some questions."
Can I just go in the room?
at this point, Yuki is going to interrupt and kind of like speak loudly toward the stone and say, "Lord Captain Commander, it's us from the vault the other day. We have a few more questions if you have a moment."
The vault, Sheila says, and then you hear it through the stone. Oh, yes, please. No, Sheila, let him in, please. And she goes, "Oh, all right." She takes her hand off the stone. And she says, "Yeah, I'll take you through the door. Just follow me." She kind of gets up and she goes around the desk and leads you to the hallway. She kind of unlocks the door for you and opens it up. She says, "Just head on straight. His office is right down at the end of the hall. You see his name right on the door."
Thank you for your kindness, Sheila.
Thank you, Sheila.
Yeah, of course. So she leads you down this hallway, and down at the end of a long hallway, you kind of see a door that is larger than the rest. It is emblazoned with the symbol of the Sentinel. Nice big brass doorknobs as you approach it.
Oh, a big door at the end of a hallway. Love a big door at the end of a hallway. You know, there's always someone very important behind a big door at the end of a hallway.
I mean, the last time there were guards at the end of the hallway in front of the door. I guess
Also a
they're
good
important because
indication.
they're guarding someone important, but this one doesn't have guards.
Maybe they're on the inside.
Maybe you go first then.
Hello?
Are you speaking through the door?
Yeah.
You hear on the other side of the door, "Hello?"
Is that you? Fedwin?
Oh, yes. Who else would it be? Of course, yes.
Just checking. I think it's him.
I mean, yeah, you said there might be guards inside, and I just thought maybe you go in first in case there's guards inside.
Oh, right. Can we come in?
Yes.
He will open the doors.
Opening the door, you see a well-furnished office. It has kind of a semicircular alcove at the opposite end as the door. Um, nice big wooden table. You see Fedwin sitting behind it. Next to him is standing a warforged, kind of standing at attention at his side. He's got various notes and pieces of paper on his desk. Inside the office is there's like a circular like coffee table in the middle, some nice couches, and the walls have a couple of bookshelves. And as a matter of fact, I have a map for this.
Oh!
Oh, this is
Look at
lovely.
that!
Oh man, do we get to beat up Fedwin now?
That's hot.
Alright, everyone attack and roll initiative.
So you open the door, and he kind of looks up at you from the desk, and he stands in greeting, and he says, "I'm surprised you decided to come see me again. You left in such a hurry the other day."
It's a big day.
Not exactly the best day.
I would agree.
Is that cheese on the table?
No, that's a pie.
A cheese pie?
No, it's just a pie.
Just pie.
Just pie.
The professor will sit on the couch and start helping himself to the pie and let Yuki take the charge as she has.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, I was just like screaming, laughing. Is that cheese? Dead. Dead. Mars for MVP. Period. Done. Over. Literally all it takes. So Yuki will kind of step forward, step around, Professor eating cheese pie, and she's going to say, sorry to take up more of your time, Lord Captain Commander. We just have a few more questions. We understand that you were with the Thorns of the Black Rose?
For a short amount of time, before they called themselves that, yeah.
Did you have any interactions with Temerity whilst with them?
Temerity joined them long after I had gone my separate way here in Crystal Cove. But I did run into her once in Moonhaven. She was a teacher there. But as far as traveling with her, I never did.
So you wouldn't know her very well then?
No, I'm afraid I don't. Why ask about Temerity?
It's complicated.
It's... I know we don't really want to revisit too much, but Nariko did mention that the person who we saw leave and the one who got away, she looked like Temerity. Either it was Temerity or she was pretending to be Temerity.
Huh.
And we just thought maybe you can tell us a little bit more about her, in case it is actually her.
I'm afraid I can't say no much about her, anything about her really. Sorry to disappoint you.
Well,
Is there anyone that you might be able to think of, Lord Captain Commander, that may
Make sure you
have
add an
any...
emeritus to that. I am retired, or I'm trying to be, as he glares over to the Warforged.
we just call you Fedwin.
Fedwin is fine.
Yuki visibly relaxes. Fedwin, is there anyone else in Crystal Cove that might have any knowledge of Temerity or has spent any time with her?
Rolling a history check. He looks at Yuki and he says, as far as I know, she didn't have much relationship with anybody else here in Crystal Cove. I mean, as far as I know.
Really lonely.
I'm sorry?
That seems really lonely. Sorry, I was kind of talking to myself.
Oh.
But I just... The headmistress from the magic school, she said the same thing, that Semerity didn't. She kept everybody at her arm's length and didn't really have any friends.
Well, it's my understanding that she's not from here and hasn't spent a lot of time here, so I wouldn't imagine that she would have that many contacts in the city.
Well, will be traveling. Do you know anybody that we might run into along the way that knows Temerity?
I can only really point you to the School of Magic in Moonhaven. That's where I know she spent most of her time.
What of the other thorns of the Black Rose?
Well, yeah. That's a good point. I suppose you could seek them out. Well, last I heard, she had, well, actually, the stories that I've heard is that she kind of joined along with the Thorns, with Sepka, who is, I believe, running a tavern with his wife in Edmay, so you can speak to them. They may know a little bit more about her. I know...
But isn't that where we were going to go for your scroll thing? Anyway?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's also, Zakaria is also in that area, too. You could probably meet up with her. Of course, there's Lorelei, but she's been gone for a while. Not quite sure how to reach her. Those would be the people I would seek out.
But it sounds like then our best bet is Moonhaven and then going to see Professor, are you alright?
Did I not say Sephi's name? He absolutely would have said Sephi's name. I'm sorry.
Thank you. You just said wife.
You
Like,
said
what the
Sepka
fuck is
and
that?
with his
And
wife.
his
and was
wife.
just, like,
I certainly-
giggling about it.
I'm so sorry. He totally would have said Sephi's name.
If anything, Fedwin barely knew Sepka. It would have been Sephi and that weird dead
Sephi,
dude that
yeah.
she likes.
No, you're
It would
absolutely
have
right.
been, he joined up with that dude Sepka, and Seppi knows him pretty well because she runs a tavern with him.
Yeah, let's retcon it to
Would've
say
been
you
that.
said that.
Well,
I can't take back my bitching.
my friend Seppi owns a tavern, and I think her husband might know her.
Yes, that is absolutely what he would say.
That's
I love it. Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
okay. We're teasing you, but yeah. Professor, though, are you okay? Is the pie? Did you put cheese on that pie, and that can't be good for you.
Why would you
Your
put
face.
cheese on a pie?
He eats weird things, but look at his
I don't
face.
eat weird things. It's delicious.
Your face is all red.
Listen, I'm
People
not gonna.
where I come from put cheese on apple pie all the time, and it's fantastic, even if you don't eat it here. And shut up.
Listen, I'm not gonna kink shame anybody, but that is objectively gross.
Pink shame. Are you suggesting that I have sexual interest in cheese and pie together?
Hey, you
Because
said not
I
me.
tell you, sir, that I only like them separately in those ways. Don't be gross.
I
Call me grossy. You're the one eating cheese on pie.
feel like I went into a weird direction with this topic, so I'm gonna pivot and pretend I didn't hear what I just heard. Where was I going with this question?
Don't know.
Professor, I guess it makes the most sense for us to go to Moonhaven and then go visit some of the living thorns of the Black Rose down in Edmay. Because you've got your scroll to do, and then there's also they might know more about Temerity. Although by that time we might have already found her, maybe, if she's in the cave by here.
The cave that we're looking for. is here, isn't it? On this continent?
Yeah, this by Fred's Wharf. I was down by
It
down
wouldn't
south.
hurt to check that out first. Just seems
Yeah.
terribly inconvenient to go all the way across the sea and then back.
It's at least a 2-week journey by boat, so it's going to
Yeah.
take a while. Might as well do that for. So if we find her, then we won't really need to do the second part, I guess. But maybe we.
Would it be fun if we did?
I mean, yeah, we could go. I would still like to see places. Moonhaven sounds great. Anyway, yeah, okay. We were going to go to find the cave thing, and you said you would help us if we went to the cave with finding the people that escaped from the vault. Are you still going to help us?
If you were to go to Fred's Wharf and try to investigate the guarded hand, yes, of course.
Yep. That's what we're doing. Kinda. Investigate. Investigate, not necessarily confront, but investigate. Yes.
We're having trouble getting anybody to talk about it because, well, they don't like.
Because your sentinels are scary.
It's not that they're scary, it's that there have been a number of things that have been going around, especially around this town, where we believe that they are dressing as us, performing illegal acts, and trying to pin it on us. So you can imagine there's a little bit of distrust going on.
Oh, I thought it was because of the way your sentinels handle intense situations.
With bravery and honor and courage? Why would that defer anybody?
Oh, no, I meant more by shouting at people who were having a panic attack behind a closed door. But sure, we'll go with that one.
Probably not the time.
Yeah, it's fine. Everyone had a bad day.
Forgive me, but how easy is it to get those billowy cloaks things here? How are people imitating you so easily?
Well, that's the thing. The cloaks that they had were not billowy.
They were just blue?
They were just blue.
Oh.
That's a pretty big thing. How are people missing that?
Well, I mean, my papa says that sometimes you just got to be confident, and if you're confident, then a lot of people think you belong there, and maybe it's just that everyone was expecting a sentinel, and they acted like a sentinel, so no one really questioned why the cloak wasn't doing the magic bit.
Yeah, I suppose. Humans, the
Plus,
second they see something that looks and walks and quacks like a duck, they fail to see if it tastes like a duck, and they just assume it's a duck.
Why would you want to kill a duck?
Not kill a duck, just, make sure you're exhausting all your... That's neither here nor there. It's an oversight, but it's a reasonable oversight, and I get it. What are you doing about this?
What am I doing about this? We're trying to rebuild our relationship with the community.
Do you still have like a public outreach? It seems to me, if I remember correctly, used to have people whose entire jobs were to, I don't know, for lack of better words, boost your PR.
It is something we are working on regaining, yes.
Why did you retire?
I've been adventuring for a very long time. I'm only a human. I can only go on for so long before I want to rest.
Oh no, I didn't mean from adventuring. I mean, you mentioned the other day that this wouldn't have happened if you had been here. Running things, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you leave if you were afraid that things like this would happen?
It's the same answer, my dear. want to live out our golden years in peace, and we want to enjoy the rest that we've earned from the fruits of our labor. And I put people who I thought were good in charge, again staring at the Warforged, who just kind of like stares forward, dead-eyed. But I see that I've made the wrong decision here, so I must start over.
Oh, I mean, it's not. I mean, that had to fall through a lot of cracks before. It can't just be his fault. It's not just him. You didn't. You're fine. No one. We're not. I wouldn't blame just you. The thing. I fooled everyone. Everybody was there, and everybody else was fooled too. So maybe it's. You don't just. You're making him feel bad, and that's not nice.
And it's okay to make me feel bad about my decisions?
It was a question. I was honestly asking because you seem like everyone here really enjoys you being around, and you would have a desk and a secretary and everything. And I just thought maybe I know a lot of people. Not a lot of people. I don't really know that many people. Stories of people who just they work from the desk, not actually adventuring and things. I didn't know if that was a part of it, and just wanted to know.
I retired because I wanted to retire. I was tired and I didn't want... I felt that I've earned my rest.
Okay. You can... That's fine.
Sorry if my tone comes off a little harsh, but...
It's just a question.
Did come in here telling me that my sentinels were big and scary.
They are. So are you.
He kind of sighs and he scratches the back of his head and he goes, I'm sorry, I guess I am a little bit tender about these things. It does upset me the amount of damage that has been done.
Maybe you need to discuss it with the therapist over tea instead of yelling at people in a tub.
See, there you go. You're accusing me again of yelling.
It feels like you're yelling.
Perhaps we should move on from this. This sounds like a very good conversation for tea. We don't have any tea. Do you have any tea? I don't see any tea.
I don't have any tea. Yuki's the one with the tea. I don't have tea.
Right. Well, perhaps next time.
We don't really need to stay anyway. If there's no more questions, we can just go.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I think we've got a pretty good handle of where to go next. If I might, Fedwin, perhaps you just need to put a billowing blue cape somewhere heroic to sort of reestablish the trust. I mean, that seems all sorts of skeezy and political, but really it works. Get some good graces with the people. Might make your job a little bit easier.
And what would you suggest?
Well, it's not really a professor of heroics, but I mean, if you find something that's big and important, you should make a point of putting someone in there. I mean, this, and he kind of gestures to the group like, we're on the trail of something I think very big. Some help would be in our best interest as well as yours, I think.
Wanting to give us cloaks?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't turn down a billowing cloak, but not really what I meant.
Oh.
A partnership, really.
Partnership? What are you proposing with this partnership?
If I came in here with a plan to ask you for help, I would have been able to tell you that exactly. But I mean, we're seeking information not only about the whereabouts of one of the thorns of the Black Rose and the potentiality of their turning dark, but also a potential for world-impacting, scary magic that we've never seen in this age, in the form of void magic.
Maybe we don't say that to people.
He looks to Fedwin, then looks to Jeffrey, then looks back to Fedwin, and he's like, you have to trust someone. And look at that beard! How can you not trust him?
Can't trust everyone.
I don't have a beard.
I trust him. And I mean, he's here, and he knows what's happening already. I mean...
Not really. We just found this out at the Headmistress place.
Well, assistance in any possible way that you think you can muster would help us, even if it's funding or people to carry our bags or just being present or something, just a little more firepower if we need it. I don't know. This is the sort of thing I usually spend 3 days planning before asking, but just seems like a good opportunity for you and for us. If we're going to be traipsing all about the globe, looking for people and things and stuff, we're going to need help.
Well, I'll tell you what I can do. If you're going to go and investigate matters on our behalf, or even not on our behalf, but to our benefit, can offer this. I could give you what we call a squire's badge for the Sentinels. That may give you a little bit of extra clout with some city officials if you're going around asking questions to anybody who happens to be in charge. Now, not everybody may be inclined to help you with this, but at least they won't question your legitimacy.
I thought you wanted us to keep the Sentinels out of it because people didn't want to talk to Sentinel stuff.
To the people, yes, but there are officials that are out there that still believe in us. So, it might be best to gauge on which side of the fence they fall before showing off this sort of thing.
A trump card.
I wouldn't quite call it a trump card, but maybe a jack of diamonds.
I would take a jack of diamonds any day.
The other thing I can offer is a little bit of monetary assistance to help you get around if you need to hire transportation or hire people or purchase supplies. We do have a small treasury of 500 gold pieces that I can offer you.
Professor looks at Jade with a half smirk and like a little bit of a nod, kind of like a see. That would be very helpful, Fedwin. Thank you.
She's just looking at the professor like, what?
Right, a badge and some money will do wonders. As far as this visit goes and the information that I think this...
Marcy, you completely dropped out right there.
How about now? Am I here now?
Yep, you're better
now. The professor just says, a badge and some money will be incredibly helpful. But as far as this lead goes for this visit, I believe it's run its course. We could probably be on our way.
Yeah.
I
Unless Kiki or Nariko or Reverite or Ren, anyone have anything else you want to ask?
Nariko says, there is something very brief. I'll need to discuss with Fedwin in private before we leave.
Oh, okay. Private? Yuki should stay with you?
Nariko gives Jay just a comforting smile and says, I'll be quite alright with just myself, I promise.
Okay. Well, did anyone else have anything they want to ask Fedwin before we go, and then Nariko has a private meeting?
I believe I've asked all the questions I have for Fedwin right now. Thank you for your time, sir.
Fedwin nods back and he says, and thank you for your help.
Okay, I'm gonna go outside with Sheila. Bye. She just goes outside.
Yuki will follow.
The professor kind of gestures to the pie as he finishes the slice, like, this was delicious. Thanks, thank you. And he gets like halfway out of the room and then walks back, grabs the pie, and then leaves.
Kind of shakes his head, and as you guys are leaving, you see he touches the stone on his desk, and he goes, Sheila, I need to requisition the green purse for our friends who are just on their way out. And hear Sheila through the stone. She says, all right. Assuming everybody but Nariko filters out at this point.
I think so, yep.
Yes.
Okay. So everybody filters out, and once they are alone in the room, Fedwin looks at Nariko and he says, what is it you wish to speak to me about?
Nariko kind of puts herself into von Gertzner mode, and she says, I wish to offer an apology.
An apology?
After the incident down in the vault, with tensions high all around. I was perhaps a bit harsh in my tone, and I know that certainly for some of my companions there are still some hard feelings, so I just wish to offer my apologies for that.
Tensions were high, and there's no need to apologize for that. As a matter of fact, I believe it is I who owe you all an apology for, well, I suppose everything that happened the other day, really. It was an egregious failure of security, which I take very seriously.
As you should. Although I do get the feeling that with what's seemingly Temerity's involvement, I do have to wonder how much of it could have even been avoided. But I wanted to ask you, when you talked a bit about stepping away from the Sentinels. Did you feel ready to leave when you did?
He kind of chuckles and he says, half of me wants to say yes, but I think deep down in my heart I really didn't want to.
Did you feel like you needed to?
For myself, yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
I'm sorry things have conspired to bring you back in. But there was one other project. Through my tour of your city, I've noticed some places that perhaps could do with some restructuring for ease of movement.
Oh,
Would the Sentinels be interested in that project, or do I need to find the office at the town council?
well, we work together with the council, but we also have a corps of engineers, I suppose, that can also handle matters of logistics and restructuring.
Oh, okay. Take a look at this. And she pulls out from her briefcase a small packet of papers where she has been taken sort of a rough map of the city and then laid down some various designs for like one escalator system and one that's basically like a lift and like key points where traffic might be improved to get up to the upper level, as it were, from the lower.
Huh. This is quite genius.
Oh, it's nothing, but the von Grutzner's always started with transportation as their first avenue, so I figured if you are perhaps looking for any sort of new civic projects where the more industrious community side of the Sentinels could be put on display, then perhaps a contract with the von Grutzner's for something like this could be a part of that.
I think you're onto something here. Yes, this does seem like it would be a good idea. More flow through the town would mean more. Other areas would probably receive more commerce than they may have before.
Well, it's also kind of a point of pride, perhaps. I heard that the Heart of the Sentinel used to be called Beggar's Row, for goodness sake. Was that the official name, or is that just what people called it?
Well, first it's what people called it, then it kind of became the official name, and the city didn't really see well enough to do anything about it. They were just mostly trying to gentrify the area. But after my companions and I had visited the city and saw what kind of state Beggar's Row was in, along with the help of proprietor of Siren's Song, Caladriel, we were able to kind of help the people of Beggar's Row create a better situation with help of a lot of influx of coin, of course. We were able to help them upkeep and update their homes in this area, and they were kind enough to let us put our church here, which over time grew.
So, oftentimes part of what needs to make a change happen is being able to create a change in mindset. If you keep calling the place where you live Beggar's Row, then all you're ever going to think about is how terrible it is. So I think a little bit of activity, a little bit of industry, a new change here and there to show that the place is still living, not just what it is. I think that does a lot for people.
I would say that is a correct assessment.
Oh, wonderful. Nariko kind of briefly, like mentally goes, yes, Mom was right about something again. Yay. And then she says, well, I don't know that I can offer you any advice on how to change the Sentinels in a way that will satisfy you, but at the very least, a solid problem to work on in the meanwhile and help take the edge off from a problem that you don't yet see the answer to. So I will take these drafts up to Kenneth, and I will ensure that he has a full proposal to lay for you and the City Council for a few new projects. And I will offer one final very sincere apology, because I am certain that you are probably going to hear from Mother soon, if you have not already, and I cannot help you with that. But I wish you the best of luck, and there are no hard feelings on my side. I very much appreciate the vested trust you have given us, and the monetary bonus to help fund our quest, which will hopefully turn up answers and solutions. And that's. I'm going to step out now. Thank you very much for your time.
You know, I once faced a purple worm. Whew, but you're Miss Von Grutzner. Oof. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I will need that luck.
I was really just waiting for a second of just like, I once faced a purple worm, and just silence. It was like, no follow up, just stating effect. But yes, yeah, Nariko is Nariko's sorry for a lot of things. She's sorry about that the most, because Nariko can be a bit terse with people. Katarina von Grutzner can destroy people. So,
As she should.
yes. So with that, Nariko will take her leave and rejoin her companions pretty quickly, and just smile and say, "All right." Well, turns to Sheila. Does Sheila have just a purse of gold to hand over to us?
Yeah, by the time you walk out there, she has a small purse of gold, and she has a what they call a deputy sentinel's badge.
All right, very important question. Who wants to be the party funds? It's me. I'm going to be the party funds.
It's you.
Get him, responsible one. I have faith in you.
Literally making my character an up-and-coming businesswoman. This is what was going to happen. I have the suitcase. It's just full of all of our money. Just going to open it up and just stack dollar bills until someone gives us what we need.
My ADD and Ren doesn't understand the value of money. It ain't me.
Cool.
So Sheila hands over the purse with the badge, and she says, "Wow, you're getting both. Jeez, you guys must be important."
Nariko really just wants to say yes. Yes, we are. But that would be rude.
So I guess the talk went well.
Well, it happened. And I know we're important, but we're trying to be helpful, so, yeah.
Well, if you're trying to be helpful, then that's important to me.
Oh, that's okay. That's great. I hug her.
Oh, aren't you lovely? She hugs you back.
You're really nice.
You're really nice too. I like you. I like all of you. Especially you with your cute horns. And she kind of like pointing at Ren.
Ren looks behind him, trying to figure out who she's talking about.
Oh, sorry, not horns, antlers. Those are antlers. You're very unique.
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel better.
All right. So I believe that concludes our sort of group business for the day. We collected information about our next leg. We have until tomorrow until we'll be setting sail. I need to go stop by Craftsman's Corner to pick up my dress. But I suppose we're all free to do as we will.
And we were going to go to the herb shop too. So we could go get the dress and go to the shop, and then
Yes.
have a bit of time before we leave. Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
So you head off from the Heart of the Sentinel and head back into town. Nariko makes a beeline for the tailor. As you head back around Craftsman's Corner, you once again see the tailor shop where you left your dress, stitches and buttons.
Sounds good. You go in.
Go in, the same little man is in there, and he says, "Ah, Miss von Grusner, you back for your dress?"
Yes, indeed. She pulls out her little tailor's ticket to hand in.
He grabs it and digs with the back for a second, produces your dress, and he says, "There you go, good as new, just as you had requested."
Very much appreciated. Thank you, sir.
"Thank you for the business, ma'am." "Miss, you're too old. You're too young to be a ma'am."
Feels like I'm getting older all the time.
"I know the feeling."
So they'll exchange a few pleasantries. She'll write up a check for the amount, and then rejoin with the group over at the herb shop.
That the urge shop is just like poking at things carefully, or attempting to poke at things, but doesn't actually touch them because she doesn't want to contaminate them.
Herb shop, herb shop.
When Ren gets there, he's going to start looking at poisonous things.
You make your way to the herbalist shop. It smells of all sorts of herbs and incenses and stuff in here. Dried herbs hanging all in the windows. Little jars of all sorts of crushed up greenery and other ingredients. Little halfling comes around the counter to greet you. She's got crop curled long hair, green eyes. Skin is a little bit rough, like she's seen quite a few seasons outdoors. She says, "Oh, welcome. How can I help you?"
I'm looking to pick up some herbs, some provisions for a trip we are about to take.
Sure. Anything in particular you're looking for?
I would say definitely things for healing, for calmness, and possibly sleep.
Antitoxins.
Those two.
Let's pull up an item list. Hold, please.
Jade's just gonna take her time, just peering around the shop.
Being in the shop and surrounded by the earthy scent, Ren feels a lot more himself than he has in some time. He somehow feels at home among these various elements, and he's very interested in procuring some, although he's not quite sure why.
Does any of that show on Ren's face?
Sure, yeah, it absolutely shows on Ren's face. Actually, his eyes are a little bit wider, and he's like walking around with some very obvious interest and absolutely investigating every little thing, poking at stuff, and seeming to demonstrate some familiarity with different types of plants, specifically those that might have more toxic properties.
You're right, Ren.
This place is very interesting.
You look different here.
Different? Looks at himself.
I mean, you seem relaxed. And, I don't know, like you feel comfortable, maybe?
This feels familiar.
The shop?
Not this specific shop, but these. And he gestures to the various herbs and plants.
Oh! Maybe you know, I mean, you woke up in a bramble of roses. Maybe you have... I'm not going to be able to say anything that's going to make any sort of sense, but maybe you just like plants and things.
Perhaps.
Do you know a lot about? Does anything ring a bell when you're looking at it?
Starts pointing at some of the mushrooms. You must be careful with these ones. They cannot be ingested without being prepared properly first. But once prepared properly, they can be quite delicious.
Oh. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems like herbs and things are real important to you. Maybe that's a key to figuring out who...
Jenny just dropped out. We lost Jenna!
Oh, is their system lagging again?
Yeah, we heard
Oh,
nothing.
she straight up dropped.
She's back!
Oh, can you hear me?
Barely.
You're from a very far away.
Ooh, I can't fix that. Any better?
Not really. I hear a tiny Jenna voice going. Is it better?
Nope, she just left.
She left again. Now there's no Jenna voice. Try again?
Anything better now?
So far away.
Okay, nothing I can do about that then.
Is
All
the
right, cool.
Try pulling the microphone closer to you?
Microphone is literally at my lips. I don't know how much closer to bring it.
I don't know what's going on.
Did it switch your audio source?
I don't know how it would have.
There you
Much
are.
better now.
You sound better now.
I did nothing.
Nice job, Jenna.
Electronics hate you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Wizard bullshit. Anyway,
Fey bullshit.
one of them.
Pretty much.
Anyway, Jade was saying to Ren, maybe because you like them so much and they're so important to you, maybe that's a key to figuring out who you are. Or getting more
Perhaps.
memories back.
Maybe.
Do you want to get the mushrooms?
Yes, I believe I will acquire some of these, and perhaps some few other elements.
Okay. If you need help carrying anything, just let me know.
Thank you. And he reaches to his side and is puzzled to find that he does not have a satchel there. And he stops and he goes, "Oh. Okay.
What's wrong?
A bag. I usually store them in a bag to my left.
Oh,
But the bag
Okay.
is not there.
we can get you a new bag. What kind of bag?
I'm not sure. Something big enough to hold my findings. My
Okay.
foragings.
Well, it's an herbalist shop. Maybe they have some bags we can find and buy.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah.
Looks a little confused, a little taken aback, because that was definitely just some motor memory going into it. But he'll start looking around for bags and keep eyeballing to see if he recognizes any additional plants.
So there are several plants in here, Ren, that you do recognize, and you know that given enough time, you would be able to create potions of poison from them.
Oh yes, let us get those.
To get those items, you would have to spend you would have to spend 100 gold pieces to produce to get enough materials to create one potion of poison.
Ren looks at the little pile of gold he has. All 9 gold. And he goes, I will have to save up. But he is going to look around for a small bag or satchel that he can just sling around his torso and carry anything that he might find in his adventures in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he also wants those mushrooms.
So the mushrooms you can get for they have dozens of them. You can get a mushroom for a copper apiece.
Let's go.
You can get an actual backpack for 2 gold.
Alright, gonna get a backpack. Can it be like a messenger bag? Because I don't know, centaur in a backpack, that just doesn't sound very comfy.
Yeah, it can be a messenger bag.
Alright, messenger bag. There we go. That fits his aesthetics. Alright, definitely gonna grab a messenger bag and gonna start putting our shopping stuff into it. Let's see here. He's gonna pick up probably a dozen of those mushrooms. Let's see here. Is there anything else fun in there? Not break my damn bank.
Give me a perception check, Red.
Yeah. My next thing is how much does Ren actually remember about plants and how much does Suzanne know about plants? Oh shit, I know stuff.
You see that there are potions here. Shit, I just had it. Sorry, I have like 16 tabs open and I lost the one that was on.
It's okay. Between me and Yuki, we are going after all of like the herby stuff, so it's gonna be a good time.
Legit.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. There are herbs here. You can create an elixir of health. That's 120 gold to create one elixir. That cures a bunch of different kind of conditions. And then there are also standard potions of healing, which are 50 gold apiece. As far as other herbs, Yuki. You see that there are herbs of chalthorn here.
Okay.
Which will create a tea that is dry and chalky and can make you unable to taste spicy food.
All right.
There are also herbs here for fever balm, which would allow you to suppress effects of madness for 1 hour.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you see a jar that is labeled Bearuna's Cure-All, which next time you regain health within the next hour after drinking it, you gain an additional 2d4 hit points.
Ooh.
The Cure-All would be the components for that are quite expensive. They're 10 gold to make 1 cup of that.
Okay.
The Fever Bomb would be 7 gold a cup to make that. The Chalthorn is 2 silver per cup. To be able
All
to
right.
do that.
So Yuki was given money by the monastery to fund this trip as well, because she is kind of like their ambassador. They wanted to kind of allow her to use, to use her these adventures that she's going to go on, or what was supposed to just be a trip to this to a festival. So she is going to spend the money and get enough to make 1 cup of each of those.
Okay, so that would be
19.
17 gold and 2 silver.
Okay. She will fork it over,
All right.
and I will subtract that from my dollars.
And I'll put in your Discord what it is you got.
I was muted. I was going to say I have the list in front of me, so I circled everything that you mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm smart!
I'm putting it in your chat anyway, so I remember.
I'm still smart.
You are very smart. Ren's very poor, so he's just going to leave with some of the mushrooms because he's interested in those and he wants to play with them.
Okay.
Yuki's going to ask the shopkeeper, in addition to all of the wonderful help you've provided with us so far, is there any sort of local herbs or anywhere that we might be able to find some local healing for ailments in any of the surrounding forests, glades, anything?
Making a nature check. Shopkeeper looks at you and shakes her head. And she says, well, anything you can find out there, you can find in here.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Yuki will go browse around the rest of the store, just kind of looking at everything and really just enjoying being around all of the herbs and stuff. But she's gotten enough for her trip.
All right. Anybody else looking for anything in the herbalist shop?
Jade's just kind of hanging out and looking at all the pretty things that are in here. So I am good.
All right. So Yuki's got her herbs. Ren has mushrooms in a bag.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And as you guys are browsing around, the shopkeeper lets you stay for as long as you like to look at everything that's in there.
Well, I think I'm good.
All right. So what's next?
Did we require additional supplies for the journey that we are about to undertake?
I'm pretty good on my end. I've got a bunch of rations and I've got my staff and a lot of weapons. So I think I'm good.
I don't think I need anything else.
Nariko, did you say we were going to leave in the morning? Or are we going to go tonight to go to Dum Dorahl? This afternoon, I mean.
Nariko says, I originally left space in the itinerary that we could leave tomorrow if we so desired, but if we have done everything here in Crystal Cove that we feel we need to, we could set sail today.
Does anyone else have anything they need to do here?
Ren shakes his head in the negative.
No, I'm ready to go.
I
I
think I'm
can't
good.
think of anything.
Nothing for me.
Maybe we go today and then we can spend the afternoon in Dum Dorahl so that you can have all the time that you like to visit.
Yes. Let's head back to the Blue Elephant, gather our things. I'll stop by the docks, check in with Mr. McNeil, and see how quickly we can get things ship to head up.
Wonderful. Great. Yeah, good. We're gonna go on an adventure.
Nariko is going to head back to the Blue Elephant. She'll check in with our lovely innkeeper, let her know that we're aiming to check out. She's going to get her stuff together before she exits from the room, though. She's going to very quickly write up a letter that she can then send off in a bit, and then she will make her way to the docks.
Alright, hearing that you're checking out, Hilly smiles and greets you as she always does, and she sees you on your way, and she thanks you for staying, and hopes that you had a lovely time, and that you would consider coming back the next time you're in Crystal Cove.
Thank you, Hilly. It was really great to meet you.
It was nice to meet you as well. I do hope you have safe travels going forward.
Thank you. I hope you have safe not travels because your house doesn't have legs. So just here, safe, just safe. I hope you're safe and good. Safe and good.
Well, thank you.
Bye.
So Nariko has head back to the docks after leaving the Blue Elephant. Are the rest of you following?
Yep. Follow
Yes,
after
sir.
getting their things.
Cool. Making your way to the docks, the ship that Nariko arrived on, still in port. The port is a typical busy day as usual. Street vendors out on the docks, selling whatever small wares they have. Nothing really more than trinkets. Seeing you approach, Nariko, you see Kenneth kind of comes down from the ship. He comes down the gangway and meets you, and he says, Miss Nariko, are you ready to go?"
Yes, indeed, Mr. McNeil. We shall be setting course for Dum Dorahl.
Dum Dorahl, not going back home, or through. Well, no, you wouldn't be going back home. You're supposed to go to Toronto. Dum Dorahl, yes, of course. The ship's ready to sail whenever you are ready.
Nariko smiles, very pleased at the readiness and efficiency of the Von Grutzner company. At a moment's notice, he says, "Yes, only one thing to take care of. Newman."
Newman pops up and flutters next to you. Yes, Miss Nariko.
He
my
hands over a sealed letter. "I have another message to send off to Mother."
I will make off post haste.
Indeed. You'll find me. I know you will.
I always do.
Doesn't bother to tell Newman where she's going next. Just knows.
Is that all then? Anything else?
I believe so.
Well, then I will meet you back once I have something to return to you. And he kind of starts taking up to the air and starts fluttering across the lake.
He's so cute.
Huh?
Does he like to
No.
get pet? Or is that not a thing for Modrons?
Nariko considers this. You can try. I'm not sure if they'll quite understand the purpose of the action, but women will probably find it intriguing enough.
Okay, great. I mean, the next time he comes this way, I will ask him if it's okay, if it's all right.
Oh, he'll almost certainly say yes. He's very eager to please.
Oh, it's exciting. Okay. Your ship is very fancy.
Nariko looks at the ship, which is she knows it's decidedly not fancy, but that's fine. Jade can see the ocean liner, and then she can be blown away. This is the lake boat. This is dinky.
This is just the small yacht. We have the bigger yacht for out to sea.
This is the fishing yacht, which detaches from the main yacht.
This is just the pool yacht.
Anyway, Nariko will step to the side and throw a hand up towards the gangplank to her new friends and say, "By all means, come aboard."
Oh, great, thank you. Okay. Walks on in.
Nariko will also hand over the drafts to Kenneth and just have him arrange to throw up a pitch to provide the Sentinels and whatever the local council is about a few infrastructure projects that the von Gruxners might be interested in helping them.
He kind of throws his eyebrows up a little bit, and you can tell he's surprised and impressed. And he says, "You've already pitched a project. This is your very first stop. This is great."
Nariko is a little slightly embarrassed by the praise. She says, "Oh, well, it's just, you know how I am. I wander around and I saw things, and I thought I saw a problem, an inefficiency, something that could be pretty quickly rectified with our expertise. I'm supposed to be representing the company, and the company should do things. We should be giving ideas, blazing trails, as Mother liked to say." So.
Yeah, of course, yes. We'll draw up the documents immediately, and we'll put a proposal together.
Oh, also, she kind of like nudges Kidder. Did we ever give them that second part of their payment for helping us set up the expo?
Oh, no, I didn't. And he goes around to each of you and he says, "Yes, the second part of my payment. I apologize for the delay. I'm sure you can understand with all the excitement that's been going on. We've had some other things in our minds, but please accept this payment as a contract fulfilled." And he'll go around and give each of you 10 gold.
Oh, thank you. I honestly forgot about it. Reverie, did you want my gold?
You might need it, though.
Well, I have a little bit of my own, and I know you need it.
I'll hold on to it for you.
Okay.
And then if either one of us need it, then I'll have it.
Okay.
How about that?
That sounds good.
Stepping onto the ship, you'll realize it's a very well-made ship. steam stacks towering high into the air as the boilers below deck begin to fire up. You guys step onto the deck. The crew takes a moment to unmoor the ship. I don't know if that's a word, but they do that. And the ship begins to pull away from dock shortly after. And we are back on the lake.
Woo!
Ren throws up over the side and complains, "Where did he eat carrots?"
Oh.
So the travel from Crystal Cove to Dum Dorahl, it will take 8 hours to get there. So you do have some time.
Wait.
Yes?
Did you say 8 hours?
Yes? Was that wrong?
Well, it's 18 miles.
The map might not be to scale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
because
I'm curious.
because it's about the same distance as Point Pleasant, and Point Pleasant it was going to take like at least half a day to get here, right?
Oh!
Because Newman had to go.
You're right. I was looking at the wrong scale. Correct. That is correct. We'll take half a day.
Okay.
So 4 hours?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So, you definitely get enough time for a short rest, if any of you need that. But you do have some time. You do have some downtime on the ship if you wish to have any quote-unquote fireside chats with each other.
I could think of one for Nariko, unless anyone wants to jump in first.
Go ahead.
Nariko is going to seek out the professor, and he's going to say, "So, Professor, we've been acquaintances of one another for some time now.
Yes, yes, I should say so.
So I don't mind that you were keeping your identity somewhat obscured from me. But I was just very curious. Since you're not human and you have this shape-shifting ability, what are you?"
Yes, sorry about that. It's not like I'm actively trying to hide it.
Oh, Mars, you're faded out again.
Am I back now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I'm not actively trying to hide it. It's just that I find it much easier to talk to people looking like a human. And he kind of clears his throat, thinking back to when he kind of revealed himself and the drastic change in demeanor of like Jade in their discussions. And he kind of squirms a little bit. And then he collects himself. He's like, "Yes, I am, well, I don't know what humans call us, but to us, we are Kitsune."
Oh, it's not something I've ever heard of before. How far away do you come from?
Well, across the ocean, there's a continent called Ekram, and there's a vast forest on that continent, and we really just live there. We don't really leave the forest all that often. I guess you could call us, we have been called forest spirits before. I don't feel particularly spiritual, but yeah, that's us.
So, fair to say that you're not typical of the average Kitsune by any stretch.
Not really. In fact, my delving into the extracurricular magics was kind of met with distaste before I left. That was long time ago. I suppose anything could have happened. I haven't really been back home since, so perhaps there's plenty of Klitsuni who delve into the arcane these days. Hard to say.
How long ago did you leave?
He leans back and kind of counts on his fingers. Like, oh, well, let's carry the two, I don't know, some 150 years ago, maybe?
Oh, I suppose that makes sense. It's forest, spirit, longevity. Yes, I suppose.
Yeah, we are typically quite long-lived, just so long as someone doesn't come up and stick us or anything.
Is that a frequent problem?
No, not really. Not a lot of mortals tend to go traipsing into our sacred forest. What with the other spirits typically liking to eat them.
I can see how that would put some off.
Mhm.
I was just going to mentally note that he's talking about us as mortals, so that's very telling. Is that also sort of a cultural distinction to be referred to by a title as opposed to more of a given name like humans do?
You mean why I'm called the Professor?
Well, yes.
No, not at all, actually. That comes from my vocation as a professor. So, at the School of Magic where I teach at, one of the conditions to joining the faculty is that you have to, as part of your contract, give up your true name. And it's really a safety thing. We have access to a lot of magical components and spell scrolls and magical items and that sort of thing. And as you can imagine, with access like that, it would be very easy for someone who had more nefarious plans to misuse them. So, as part of our signing, I guess, we give up our true name and thus giving the headmistress power over us should the need arise. Most people do choose another name like John or Festa. I figured, why bother? I mean, people are going to be addressing me as a professor anyways. I might as well just be the professor.
I suppose that does make sense, even if it does perhaps clue in to others that there is something to be discovered. So from some context there, I met you at Moonhaven, so of course I thought that it was somehow perhaps related to our magical academy that you were described as such, but it sounds to me like there is some other college to which you've applied. And if there's true names being taken away, I can only assume it's extraplanar.
I don't know about extraplanar. Then again, that place has been around for a very, very, very long time, and I couldn't even begin to understand the origin of the contract. But I mean, it could be, and I wouldn't be entirely surprised.
Most entities that go around collecting true names always seem to fall into the camp of fae or fiends or the occasional undead curse.
I haven't run into any fiends or undead during my time there, though a couple of fae people. I would probably wager more along the lines of fae magic being weaved into the scrolls in which the faculty sign before they join.
Do these security measures also preclude you from telling me the name of this place or any details about it?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, it's smiled on quite fondly if we find people of similar interests to recruit to the school. No, it's called the Azurdi Academy of Sorcery. It's in the capital city of Miragard on Ekram. It's really quite an astounding place. The walls of this place stood for at least 1,000 years, which is amazing considering the number of wars that have been fought on that land.
Oh my. And here I felt that going to Iceland was a big step, and now heading to Avera was even further afield. But there really are horizons out there I can't even begin to think of yet.
Well, give it time, perhaps you'll visit. I would love to have you in my class one day.
Well, one of the long-term goals of the von Grützner Company is to become not just sort of an international corporation, but global, if such a thing is even possible for any single enterprise. But certainly something to strive for. I think, if there's more interesting and resourceful people like you in this far-off place, then I most certainly would want to meet them and learn from them. I'm sure there's others here who would as well.
I think the people of Ekram would love to see and experience the wonders that your company has brought to these lands. And I mean, the Sentinels have made their way across the ocean to get there. I'm sure that the von Grützner Company could absolutely make short work of a trip like that.
But it's not just about making the trip, it's also about keeping the connection going. Long voyages over water can be difficult to maintain. So, well, perhaps when I make the trip myself, I'll learn more. Thank you for sharing all that with me, Professor. I understand that with keeping your origins somewhat obscure, that probably a little uncomfortable for you.
He shrugs. He's like, I'm not really trying to hide much. Mostly just want to avoid uncomfortable confrontations. And he kind of thinks about his discussion with Jade when he revealed himself. And then he kind of chuckles a bit. He's like, if there's anything you ever want to know about me or my past, just ask. I'm an open book. All you have to do is ask. I just haven't felt the need to broadcast, I guess.
That's perfectly fair. For much of my time knowing you, I've only really known of your deeds, your ideas, and your texts, and I've found a lot to admire in that alone.
Well, I like to think that those are the things that define a person and not what they are physically. So thank you for taking an interest. It humbles me and fills me with so much honor that you think so highly of me just from my deeds and my work.
Well, I have to use a lot of words as the heiress to the company. I have to look the part, say the right thing to the right person, and I really do enjoy moments where I can just be in my work, and, well, the work speaks for itself if it's done right. I really, really enjoyed seeing your reaction when I first deployed the balloon.
Oh, that was brilliant. I had absolutely no idea that was something you were working on. It just kind of does like a chef's kiss, like, artistry. You're an artist. Honestly, though, Nariko, it really is a pleasure to know you and get to see all these things that you're doing. There isn't another mind like yours anywhere out there. And I've done some traveling.
I don't know about that. I mean, surely you've come across people who are curious and like to invent. Can't be alone in that.
No, absolutely. But there's a recipe to the type of things the type of greatness that you're striding towards, whether you're intended or not. I can see it. And, sure, there's lots of people who have some of the ingredients to that recipe, but you're well on your way to actually baking the most intriguing cake of knowledge.
It's an interesting visual. Well, maybe that's part of the reason Mother wanted to take me in. She knew that I would become a very valuable asset for her one day.
I respect your dedication to your company, but I really think you need to think a little bit bigger. You're not just an asset to the Von Grusner Company, but whether you don't see it now or not, you are and will be an asset to the entire world, one way or another.
I like to think that when the day comes that the company is in my hands, and I'm looking where we can put our resources and our influence, that will be quite true. Like I said, global. Bringing the whole world together.
I like that. I really look forward to seeing this come to fruition and hopefully playing a small part in it.
I don't think there is going to be such a thing as a small part to play. Things seem... I don't know. Jade gave me one of her books that she likes, the ones about big events and heroes rising. And it feels a little too relevant, some of the feelings I get from it. But hopefully I'm just overthinking things. Hopefully we maybe find some abandoned hideout over near Red's Wharf. And maybe this isn't as big as we'd like to think. And then she looks down at frickin' Jeremy. It's not a great odds, but it would be a nice.
Well, something that I always say is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. It's served me well so far.
Yep, that sounds a lot like what Mother's taught me about risk and loss. So, well, if you have any issues here with the voyage, don't hesitate to let me know.
Yes, of course. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And thank you, Professor, for help keeping me safe.
He does a bit of a respectful bow, the type of thing you would do to just for someone who's helped you and been of service to you that you really want to show reverence to.
Sounds good.
Right. Anybody else? Going once, going twice.
I'm good.
So 4 hours pass. It gets on to be, late afternoon as you sail across the lake and you find yourselves facing a city built to the side of a tall mountaintop. Immediately what you notice as you start pulling into the dock is that for a town that should be importing and exporting a lot of goods, the docks are rather quiet. Not a whole lot of activity going on. Another thing that you notice that there appears to be some kind of like storm cloud that is kind of hovering around the city itself. There are no actual storms. There's no rain or anything like that. It's just enough to make the city dark and cloudy, kind of blotting out the sun. The ship pulls into the dock and makes port. As the ship is tied down, you see there is kind of there's a dwarf that is on the dock, kind of there to receive the ship. Behind him is a system of pulleys and lifts that essentially bring, essentially an elevator bringing you from the dock up the mountainside to the city. So that's what you see as you pull in.
Wow. This place looks... It had to take so long to build all this.
Well, it was originally settled by dwarven mining expedition. Dwarves are well known for taking all the time and care needed to Makes some rather impressive stonework.
You can tell. This is beautiful.
Well, be sure to tell any of the resident dwarfs that they'll get you on their good side really quick.
Oh, yeah, of course. Do you think we'll have time to maybe tour the city a little bit?
I'm sure. We're coming in a bit later in the day today, but if we want to take some time to look around tomorrow, that's perfectly fine.
That's great. It seems a little quiet. It's probably because it's so late. I mean, it's afternoon now. Do we have a place that we can stay for the night, or should we stay on the ship?
Joe, what's the lodging situation, my man?
You would know about. There is an inn in Dum Dorahl called the Iron Knight Inn that would have rooms available for rent.
Nariko will say, I think we should definitely take a spot at the inn as opposed to sleeping on the ship.
Okay.
Yeah, I know of at least one or two that should suit our needs quite well.
Well, that's great. Well, what do you want to do first, Nariko?
Let's go ahead and get our room sorted out, so we can have a place to keep our stuff, luggage, and if we want to grab some of the latest news, we can talk to the innkeeper.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, let's go! And Nariko looks up at the stationary storm cloud above the city. I was like, that's not normal. I'm gonna have to ask someone about that.
Does it look like, so the storm cloud that's up there, does it look like, because this is basically in a mountain range, that like this is just tall and this storm cloud kind of just hovering? Or...
Give me a nature check.
Nature. Great. Okay.
Give me a weather check.
Look, there's weather! It exists.
It's true. Okay. Dice.
Damn it, Joe! You should have asked her to give you a rain check, and then she said, "Yay!" and then just like left the call entirely.
Gotta
Rain.
Gotcha.
Nature?
Nature.
Cool, that's an 11.
I'm
not used to weather.
Well, you know enough that storm clouds are dark like this one that you're seeing. Typically when you look at the mountaintops, there should be like almost more of like a misty kind of look to it, but this looks darker than usual. Than there should be at the top of the mountain.
Do you think it's going to storm? That cloud there looks like darker than it. I think it should at this height.
If it was going to storm, it would be actively raining and lightning right now.
Professor, if you detect magic at this low elevation, you detect nothing.
Well,
Distance of 30 feet, and it's currently up in the stratosphere. So
yeah, it's up there.
well,
I had the same idea, Mars. I really did.
Just in case there's something at ground level influencing it.
Well, maybe it's just a strange cloud.
Well, if anyone gets struck by lightning within 30 feet of you, you'll be able to tell whether it was magical or just bullshit.
Once we get up to the inn, we can ask if that cloud is always there, or if it's something new or troublesome.
So assuming you guys are getting off the ship and
Yep.
heading up
Yep.
topside, the dockmaster dwarf sees the von Grutzener ship coming in, greets you as you come off the gangway. Makes mention to something as haven't seen visitors in a while. And he looks at y'all and he says, as he kind of like loads you into the elevator and begins to operate. He goes, what are you in town for?
We're here to visit a couple spots, mainly the temple, and from there we're going to be heading out, probably on foot, to Red Dwarf.
Oh, all right. Well, the temple and the inn are probably the only places still open right now. Not a lot of gold flowing in and out of the city. It's been rather quiet since the Duergar moved in.
The Duragar?
The what moved in?
Duergar, grey dwarves.
Oh, are they not nice neighbours?
They've moved into the mine and kind of pushed us out, and we haven't been able to access it in a while. So we're not able to mine things, and not able to smelt things, and with no gold coming in, there's not a lot of people around anymore.
How did they push you out?
All I know is they showed up one day, the miners couldn't get back in.
Is there a check I can do to see if I know if this is like normal Durgar activity? Like, are these just like, is this a race of people who are just genuinely assholes to everyone else?
Also, does Dum Dorahl have like no cops?
Or sentinels?
History check.
History.
Duergars are typically assholes.
Durgars, those guys really get my goat.
What you know about the Duergar, Professor, is that they are, they typically come from the Underdark. Almost a kind of separate but related plane of existence to the material plane.
These guys.
Typically not a fan of anything from the material plane.
He will spout exactly that off as if he's giving a lecture on the Durgar and their customs within the material plane.
Oh, well, this is going to be a stupid question, I'm sure, but has anybody talked to him?
The Dockmaster kind of shrugs. He says, well, not really my place. You might be able to find more information from Gary at the Iron Knight Inn. He usually knows everything that's going on in town.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going there anyway, right? And Nariko, you said that the tavern would have current events. Yay, I think maybe I don't know if this is a yay. It seems strange.
Would be good to give more context. Do you know if that cloud up above the city is related to that, or is that a separate issue?
Well, it did seem to show up around the time the Duergar did.
This is the same town that had some sort of shadow curse buried underneath it in the past, isn't it?
Yeah, about 25 years ago.
Okay. I'm slightly worried. Let's go to the inn.
That was resolved according to the books. It was all cleared out. That particular curse. I mean, there could be a separate, different kind of curse that's going on. Although I think the other one was started from, a beholder, and this. I mean, I guess it could be a beholder. I think there was also shadow dragons in that one, but that story was a little kind of all over the place with keys and tracking things down, and there was also, I think, a pirate somewhere in there. And a really old dwarf who was asleep but kind of crazy at the end.
As the elevator is lifting up, the dwarf, Dockmaster Dwarf looks at you, Jade, and he goes, "You read the board?
I do. Do you?
He tells some fantastic stories."
It really does. I mean, is it true though? The story?
Yeah,
That
I'd say mostly,
was-
yeah.
Really?
Mm.
Oh, that's wonderful to know. Okay, so the curse was broken and everything was okay for at least until now.
Yeah, things were good.
Oh, that's great.
After a short conversation, the elevator reaches the top, and he says, "Well, welcome to the city. Do hope you
Thank you.
try to enjoy your stay."
Oh, what's your name? My name's Jade. It was really nice to meet you. Your city really is beautiful. I'm sorry it's going through a bit of a rough patch right now.
Thank you. My name is Arthur.
Oh, that's a wonderful name.
Joe, quick question.
Hmm.
I'm going to assume that Dum Dorahl, like, having its primary industry shut down would probably be bad for commerce in general for everyone on this continent, yes?
For anyone looking to get iron goods, yeah.
Shit. This is now a problem that is a company concern.
This is a business issue.
Damn it!
So the lift reaches the top. Arthur lets you on out, and he rides the lift back down to go to the docks, and we move to a new map.
Ooh.
Oh, it's like a warm hug on a cold day.
Oh.
We're right back in Solitude, I think. Yep.
Yay!
Welcome back to where it all began.
Oh,
I was playing Skyrim recently. I could probably label what all these buildings are actually in the game. Because I'm pretty sure that's
I
the
love
Bard's
it.
College that's got the temple and the inn.
Yeah, when I stole this map, had no idea what it was from. I was just like, hey, this works. I've never played Skyrim.
Now I want to play Skyrim.
It did take me a minute because it's from an aerial angle and it's like angled slightly off from like how I'm kind of used to the layout going through it in first person. But after a bit, I was like, oh wait, no, yeah, I've been here. Great.
So he lets you off into the city proper, and you notice that there is a distinct lack of foot traffic. It's quiet, and where you should be smelling iron in the air and smelling the heat of the smelters, and hearing the sounds of people walking about and milling around, there's none of that. It is strangely bereft of activity.
really quiet here. I guess he wasn't joking about. I mean, I know he wasn't joking. He was very serious, but I thought there'd be at least some people.
Make any kind of perception checks as we walk around. Like, are there people around, just like not out, or?
Yeah, you can give me a
Just-
perception check, sure.
Yay! 26.
As you look around, you kind of
29.
There are some lights on in the brewery and monastery here. This building is dark. The orphanage is lit up. The inn is lit up. Not a whole lot of activity going outside of the temple, but the temple is usually a quiet place of reflection anyway. One thing you do notice is that you see a dwarf sitting outside of the inn, and as you kind of like clock him and size him up, you see that his clothes are like dirty and tattered. He's got like soot and stuff kind of smeared on him. He's holding a tin can in his hand as he kind of sits on the stoop in front of the inn, and you notice that he is not wearing any shoes.
Not getting too close, but Jade will say, "Are you okay?"
See, his head kind of slowly picks up and looks in your direction, Jade. And he kind of starts rattling his little tin can, and he goes, "Oh, spare some coin for an old man."
Oh, of course, yeah. I'll give him a gold.
Oh, bless you, miss, bless you. And he gets up and he wastes no time in heading towards the entrance of the inn.
Oh, I hope he's all right.
And he goes inside.
Is this Oh, we're going here too.
You know what he's buying with that, right?
Something to drink? Something to eat?
Hopefully, do you think he likes cheese? And the professor trots in after him.
I mean, probably. Everyone really likes cheese. It's not on pie.
Yuki will also go in the inn after the dwarf.
Ren follows.
All going in?
God, why do I feel like shenanigans are gonna happen? Yeah, hell yeah, I'm going in.
Of course,
That's
of
better.
course, shenanigans are gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't have any inspirations today, guys.
Give me a second, I'll set this
Yep.
up. Sorry guys, moving tokens. Alright, let's go.
Yay!
So you walk into this tavern, and you see that the mood in here is not exactly cheery. There are a couple of parties sitting about. You see that there are some kobolds sitting at this table here, some dwarves and a half-orc sitting at the table over here. Some others up against the bar, including your friend who you just gave some gold to, who is ordering some ale and meat from this charming-looking halfling behind the bar.
Oh, hello.
Who are you saying that to, Jade?
Just everybody as she walks in, just hi, and she waves as she walks around the tables. I guess
See,
the first people she sees are these guys, so she waves and says hello to them.
as you kind of walk in and wave, you see the kobolds. They just kind of look up and they regard you for a second, and they don't really pay much attention. They go back to what little drink and scraps that they have on their table.
Oh, it's quiet and not. Hello. On this side, with Nariko and Yuki.
See, as you walk in, Professor, you sneak a piece of cheese into this guy's pocket. Cheese apparently is the new fish heads of this campaign.
Well, I hadn't thought of it that way, but
You walk up to the bar and you see this dwarf here who's short, stout, red hair, big full beard. He looks up to you. He comes across the bar here. He says, "Oh, welcome, welcome. Hello."
Hello there, Keeper Garrick. My name is Nariko von Gertzner. We were looking to book lodging for the evening.
You see he blinks a little bit. He looks surprised. He says, "Yes, yes, we have rooms available. Wonderful. Yes, please. Welcome. It'll be 5 silver pieces a night.
Each?
Yes, yes, for each of you.
Okay. Reverie, did you want to share a room or do you want your own room? You can have your own room if you like.
We can share.
Okay.
Is that each per person or per room?
Per person. To make sure we have, the linens and all the other sorts of comforts that you could possibly want.
Of course.
Yes, of course.
And Jade will hand over a gold piece.
So 2 of you are staying.
We're gonna share one room together,
Oh, great. Okay.
and then everyone else. I don't know what you want your room situation to be, but we're gonna share.
Oh, wonderful.
One for me, please. And he'll give over his silver.
Great.
One for me as well, and Yuki will do the same.
Oh,
Me too. Henwood
What?
will hand over his silver.
wonderful, wonderful. Bless you. Thank you. Welcome. Please make yourselves comfortable.
Are you okay?
Oh, yes.
You-
No, yes. We're fine. We're great. Things are wonderful. Yes.
That doesn't seem really great or wonderful. Everyone seems really upset and sad. You look like you're about to cry. Are you sure you're okay?
I'm good now for at least a couple of days. Yes.
What's gonna happen in a couple days? Do you need help?
In a couple of days, this coin that you've given me will run out, and then I'll be hoping that more people like you roll into town.
Does no one like to come visit just to visit? Is it just for the mines?
Well, you've heard about the mines.
Yeah, the Joke Master Arthur?
Arthur.
Dang it. I'm so hard to remember names. Yes, him. He mentioned that the mines were shut down.
That's true. There were some Durgar showed up about 4 months ago, kicked the Miners Guild out of the mines, kicked them out of their own livelihood, could you imagine? Well, without the mines, there's no trade or commerce to be had here. Without any commerce, there's nobody to come visit. Without anybody come to visit, there's no one to spend gold at the tavern.
Oh.
So you can kind of see how that domino effect there.
So, if these Duergar have come into the mines, kicked out the proprietors, has no one been called? No guard? No legal experts to sit the gate?
Well, believe me, we've tried. The Miners Guild and contingent from the monastery even tried to go and confront the Dorgots to let us have the mines back, but they were able to repel us with great force. I don't understand where it came from, but they showed up with, well, one among them who wasn't them. There was a great tiefling with them. Cast powerful magics, was able to rebuke us.
Great tiefling, you say?
Yes, great tiefling with gold eyes.
Oh.
How long ago was this?
4 months. We were able to ride out the rest of our ore stocks as long as we could, but things dried up. We thought maybe things would blow over before we got to that point, but it didn't happen.
You said a contingent from the monastery tried to assist.
Yes.
Who was the head of that force?
Well, there's Abbot Olaf Ironhammer and Stuart Gimli.
And they can be found at the temple, even at this hour?
You can find him in the monastery now, yeah.
Good. Good.
I
Oh.
would be careful going there, though. I have heard a rumor, you see.
Monastery?
Well, I heard a rumor that that Abbot Olaf is being paid off to keep something powerful in the crypt, and that it might have something to do with the Dorgar, but he vehemently denies it, of course. But I would be careful around him. I don't think he's entirely telling you the truth.
Jade is fidgeting. Just hands on staff. Can we get to our room?
Oh, yes!
Well,
Of course, yes, right through that door. And he points to this door right here.
Should we go? Should we go to the room? Should we go to the room and talk?
Yes, let's take a moment, set our things down, and discuss.
this is so cool!
Before the professor follows along, he kind of gets up close and kind of lowers his voice, and he just says, "This grey tiefling, from your knowledge in the arcane, which be limited or vast as it may be, did they command any sort of strange magics that you've never heard of or seen before?"
Rolling for arcane knowledge. Yeah, all magic is kind of strange and arcane to me. Not really my kind of thing.
Of course. Thank you. And he'll drop a gold piece down for him as thanks for indulging him, and then follow along.
So he kind of snatches it up, and he calls back to you as you leave. He goes, "Wait! Can we have everything delivered to your room? Food, drink, anything?
Do you have any pie?
What kind of pie are you looking for?"
Apple pie.
We'll get right on it. Give us about 40 minutes to make it.
Excellent. And a good wedge of your finest cheddar cheese.
Cheese? Yeah, yes, of course. Anything, yes.
He just kind of winks and does like a finger gun at him, and then goes into the room.
Okay. Am I? Okay.
Take a breath. Take a breath, Jade.
Oh, don't really need to breathe, but yeah. So, Alright, so... Are you sure that the cave that you smelled and saw and felt, Yuki, was by the ocean? In, like... Because this is by a lake. Could it be... What if it's a mine? What if it's a mine tunnel that had like an opening out to the water?
It's possible. I smelled the ocean and I heard waves crashing, but it was for a brief second. I did not really have time to analyze at the moment.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I mean, it's mines and it's dwarves, and dwarves can mine a long, long way. What if they mined all the way out to the ocean?
Gabe, most miners would be very careful to not allow their mine tunnels to hit any sort of flowing water, especially the ocean.
Right. No, you're probably right. Okay.
I think this might be somewhat separate from what we discovered earlier. It's
separate but
we still
related?
need to. I'm sorry?
Separate but related, maybe?
Oh, definitely related. There's been a sighting of temerity here. That warrants investigation.
And she's...
Which...
Okay. So we know... What do we know? We know that they were after something at the Sentinels, right? And they they got something from them. And Garrick says there's a rumor that the dwarves in the monastery are hiding something. Do you think she's trying to get something from them? Another piece of that? Maybe there's another piece that's missing from that circle?
Perhaps, but the question would be, why take over the mine if the monastery has it?
But maybe it's just because she couldn't get into the monastery. Do you think maybe it's to leverage, pressure? Give me what I want, or we're going to keep destroying your town?
Or even, if not holding the mine hostage, making use of the tunnels underneath to attack from below?
Oh! In the books! I'm sorry, I don't mean to chat. In the books, the place that the Thorns fought, the Beholder, where they found the dwarf, it was underneath the monastery.
They couldn't possibly still be harboring a beholder down there, could they?
I mean, they killed that one. It turned into goo or exploded or set on fire. I forget exactly. But the place that they fought it was underneath the monastery, in secret tunnels under the monastery. What if that's... I mean, you could mine into those and come up from underneath, like Nariko said.
Either way, we're definitely in need of talking to this abbot and finding out.
Should we talk to the abbot, or we should talk to the man who's not potentially hiding something?
Both?
Suzanne, were you trying to say something?
Both?
Oh, both is good. Both could be good. Maybe good. I don't know.
We can, even if he is currently hiding something, there's nothing to say we couldn't convince him that we are here to help. And Nariko pulls out the little sentinel pin.
Oh, I guess I was not expecting to run into a thing so quickly. I was real... I had a lot more courage before this just happened.
Did we ask the innkeep about the storm cloud?
No, kind of, I forgot about that. There
I
was a lot
forgot.
with the mine situation to go over.
I suppose it is.
We'll ask about that before we leave.
There's time.
Should we go tonight?
I think we should definitely talk to whoever we can before the next morning.
Okay. Yep, okay. Great, good. We're gonna go. Tonight. I'm ready.
Good.
I'm lying. That was a lie. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie to you. I'm good. I'll be good. Let's go. Mm-hmm.
It will be fine.
You don't really know that.
Let's sit down, have our dinner that comes with our lodging.
Mm-hmm.
We can ask Garrig about the storm cloud as well.
Mm-hmm.
And take a few minutes to mentally prepare before we go for more information.
Do you have your loud stick?
Nariko nuts.
Oh, good. Okay. I need about 20 minutes in a bathroom.
Then go right
Closet.
ahead.
Closet. Anything. I'm gonna go sit. Jade will proceed to have her freak out moment for 15 minutes.
Oh no, adventure in this D&D game!
I was mentally preparing to prepare for later.
He's gonna come out and go back to Garrig
and he'll say, "Hey, would I be able to get access to your roof?"
To a roof?
Yeah.
I mean, sure. What are you looking for?
Oh, just want to check some things out. And he kind of looks over here, and he's like, "Can I take some of those with me?"
What, the darts?
Yeah. Any sort of metal object that I could fasten to the end of a stick.
Sure. I'd be careful, though. I mean, the storm cloud looks like it's going to storm any day now. Looks like it's
Yeah,
going
that's
to
kind of
storm any day now for the last few months, and then storm hasn't actually happened, but you never know. But sure, just whatever happens, we're not liable.
yes, of course. And he'll kind of go about collecting any darts and knives or blades or whatever is just sort of laying around. He had initially gestured over to these dartboards, but now he's like going to all the different tables and looking for just any metal object that's not fastened down that he can carry in his arms before going up to the roof.
All right. Deal with that in a second. What's everyone else inside the tavern doing?
Nariko will just confirm with Garrick that cloud has been up there, just stationary for a long time, but not actively like raining and storming.
Yep. Yeah, he'll let you know it's been up there for 4 months. They haven't really seen the sun. It has been a dark cloud that's kind of cast a bit of a shadow over the city.
Well, that's definitely related. Just not sure how yet. Well, while Nariko waits for their dinner order to be served up, I guess she'll go over to this target board, because if there's one thing that she's good at, and that can help her like focus herself down for a few minutes, it's going to be making holes in the target.
Nice.
They would probably frown upon her discharging a firearm in here, so she will just use the darts.
All right.
Yuki is just gonna hang out in the main tavern and just kind of eavesdrop, see what she can kind of hear from, the other patrons and whatnot, and just kind of observe.
Yuki, do you speak Dwarvish?
That's a good question. Do I? I fucking do! Woo! Yeah!
Good, because I don't.
I knew that was a smart choice to take.
Let's see. I had notes. Where did they go? There they are.
Yeah. What? You thought I was gonna say no.
I am so proud of you.
Yeah, hell yeah. What up,
Yeah.
dwarves?
So
What you got
No.
to tell me?
I wanna hear from Yuki about all the dwarf friends that she grew up with at the monastery.
So many!
So Yuki, as you're sitting close to this table, you hear this table over here. They're all speaking to each other in Dwarvish. And the gist of the conversation that you get is that they are talking about how what you gather is that they are members of the Miners Guild. And they're talking about how they've held out for as long as they can to see if the situation turns around. That they've tried to confront the Dorgar on several different occasions, but their guards have always been too strong, and eventually the miners in this town started moving out, trying to go elsewhere to find other work. So over time, the number of people left in the town that were part of the Miners Guild has slowly and progressively dwindled.
Got it. Sad day. Okay.
Or is Ren BRB? I saw somebody say BRB.
Ren's here.
Ren's
Professor
here.
just left.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
Professor's back. Anyways, Ren doesn't like being around a lot of people, so he's just going to stay in the private chambers and kind of reflect on what he discovered in the apothecary shop.
Mhm.
See if anything else comes back to him.
Give me a nature check.
All right, let's go. That wasn't terrible.
The mushrooms that you've picked up, they have a poisonous quality to them. If they're, fermented and cut and brewed in a certain way, you think you might be able to make something out of that.
Ren's going to start looking at that and trying to analyze how he can bring out some of the more toxic elements of those mushrooms and how it can be beneficial.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jade, Reverie, anything you guys wish to do?
Sight is
Yeah.
gonna. Go ahead.
Reverie's gonna go to where Jade went and knock on the door.
Just need
Jade?
5 more minutes. In my closet.
You sure you don't want to come out and be with the others?
No, I definitely do. I do. I really do. I just. She opens the closet door. I was not expecting to have this happen right away. Why? This is the second time we've come to a place on the very first day and something's happened. I guess nothing's really happened yet, but the prospect of something potentially happening is. Oh,
You're right. Nothing's happened. Well, something did happen, but it was months ago.
right.
So,
It's gonna be probably okay.
yeah, everything's fine right now.
We're not gonna get ambushed. Anything. And we're together. And we're gonna do. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna do something together. We can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
I definitely wasn't expecting Temerity or her lookalike or whatever to
Be here.
be here.
How are you?
I'm really glad I didn't change form yet because I was gonna pick something that looked an awful lot like Temerity.
Oh. Yeah. That would have been bad. Maybe don't pick one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Seems like she's causing a lot of trouble. If we find her, we'll figure out what she's doing. Okay? We'll figure it
Yeah.
out. I hug her.
I heard Jade back. Is David with you?
Oh, yeah, he's been talking to me. Here, take him out of this bag.
The little flame lights in his his skull eyes light up. And he goes, "Oh, morning.
Afternoon.
Time is irrelevant."
True. Cyclical anyway, and everything happens at the same moment. It's always going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
It's true.
Did you need something?
Have you been paying attention to what
Oh,
Torgar?
sure. Yeah, I hear everything.
Do Torgar normally come up
Normally, no.
and just take over towns, cities?
Normally, no. But they would if they were given the chance.
So if someone offered them something they really wanted, they would come up.
If they had something that they were being offered and they had the opportunity. I mean, they don't just come out of the ground on their own.
Oh, that's good to know. I guess.
You know much about their society and what they might want?
Well, yeah, I know they're bitter at the material plane.
Why?
They're bitter at the freedoms that you all have up here. They're used to being enslaved by the devils in the Nine Hells. That's where they learned their tyrannical nature.
Well, they have. Are they still enslaved? I thought they.
Most of them broke free, but they never forget.
Well, that's why you got to unionize.
I guess you call it that.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, I guess they'd be mad at the devils too. So they're just bitter because this place didn't get enslaved as well.
Something like that.
Seems cruel.
So, would they be able to make a storm cloud that lasts for months
Yeah, hard
and
to
block
say.
out the sun?
Hard to say unless they have some kind of magical ability, which is possible.
Do you know of any kind of magic that would make a storm cloud last for months?
There's a spell called Control Weather. It'll do something like that.
It would just stay?
If cast enough, or at a high enough level, I suppose.
So if you had something access to like alpha magics,
Yeah, that'd do it.
how would you get rid of it?
Well, you could try dispel magic, or try to disrupt the concentration of whoever's casting it.
So they have to actively be thinking about it to keep it going?
Unless it's been cast in the same place for over a year, yeah.
It's only been here for months, so it's not been a year.
You cut out, could you repeat that?
But it's only been here for 4 months, so it's not been a year.
Basically would mean that the effect's not permanent yet.
So would someone have to be actively casting it? Thinking about it?
Holding the concentration, yeah.
Would they have to be nearby?
They would have to be within 5 miles.
That means she might be here, unless one of the Durgar know how to cast that magic. David, if I take you outside, and would you be able to tell if it was if a wizard cast it, or if a Duragar cast it? I don't know if there's any kind of magical. The professor keeps talking about magical residences.
Unless you can get me within 30 feet of the cloud, not much I can do about it.
Oh no!
What
I can't
if we
do that.
throw you as high as we can?
I'm not gonna throw David.
I'll catch him.
No. Toss the skull. No, we're not gonna throw David.
Maybe if I could learn a spell like Snowfall or something, it'd be safer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess. So we have. I guess we just. Maybe we should go let Nariko know what we found out, and everyone else.
Sure.
Okay. 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 David, I'm gonna put you back in your bag for now because there's other people out there. But do you want to meet everyone tonight?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay. I'm sorry I didn't introduce you earlier. I was worried about you.
That's alright.
Okay. I'll put you back in your bag, alright? Just be... Okay. I kiss his forehead. I love you. In your bag.
With that, it's 11 o'clock. We can stop here for the evening unless we want to see whatever bullshit the professor's up to on the roof and do that scene.
Let's give him a week to brainstorm what bullshit he's up to. That's
We're gonna have a whole
I
I'm
like that.
to a kite scenario happening over here.
Hell yeah.
God, it's gonna be great.
Right. Then we will leave it there for the evening.
Oh my goodness!
So fun!
The very
Woo,
next
good game.
place we go to. It's funny. We haven't even got to meet Garrick's wife yet.
No.
he was there.
Not yet.
She was
We
there.
will. I see her.
Oh yeah,
Hey
she
guys,
was
we
there.
still forgot to purchase the X-Beak.
Oh no! We did. That just gives Marcel something to look forward to later.
Mm-hmm. To be reunited.
Lightning bullshit. Oh goodness.
Find a safe way to toss skulls.
You have a familiar.
Yeah, but if the familiar gets hit by
Yeah,
lightning,
but my familiar is not summoned currently. Out of sight, out of mind.
yeah,
Does anyone have catapult?
Oh god.
no. We're not catapulting divide. You catapult your friends first.
I mean, strangers are just friends we haven't met yet.
We catapult a stranger that you don't care about, and then see what happens to them. And then I'm not going to have it happen to Divide. You don't even know Divide.
You don't even know.
I will take nominations for 2 roleplay awards tonight.
I stand firm with Mars.
Professor.
Stand firm.
Just
my
with the
decision.
pie and the cheese.
With all of it. The pie, the cheese, just everything. Yes. All of the yes for Mars tonight.
I'll third that.
The pizza, literally everything.
Yuki had some really great moments tonight too, and Ren was starting to remember things in the shop. And then, I mean, God, everyone was so good tonight.
Agreed.
Nariko with just basically herding cats. Reverie, well, for the bits that she had of existential crisis mode still activated.
Also, you can't say herding cats when the only cat person in the group is the one least in need of any herding whatsoever.
Herding
Valid point.
people.
Yeah, Yuki was not playing. She was like, we gotta get shit done. We're going. We're going to talk to fucking bitches.
Bitches.
Bitches!
Bitches.
I think I am leaning towards Professor and Ren.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Professor
I
has
like it.
Huh?
I said I like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. So, roleplay awards for Professor and Ren tonight. And as for the recording, more plot next week.
Woo. We really need to come up with an actual line so that we all know when it starts and when it ends.
I feel like that is the line.
When it starts and when it ends.
No, like at this point, our sign off is we need to think of a sign off.